0 The pen felt heavier than it should have. 003. The paper in front of me, neatly printed, cold, clinical, blurred for a moment. I blinked, refocusing on the bold title at the top. 013, Prenuptial Agreement. 016. Across the table, Ethan. My fiancé of 3 years tapped his fingers on the polished wood. His face was carefully composed. 0.22. It's just a precaution, Lori, he said smoothly. You understand, right? Just in case. 0.30. Just in case. 0.31. I forced a smile, even as my stomach twisted. 0.34. Sure, just a backup plan. 0.38. A backup plan? For what exactly? 0.40. We'd been together 7 years, through college, through the broke years in a shoebox apartment, through every messy milestone of building a life together. And now, on the edge of our future, he wanted this. 0.51. A document that spelled out, in legal ink, that he was planning for a life without me. 0.56. I picked up the pen. My heart pounded. Don't be emotional, be smart. 1:05 I signed. 1:07. He exhaled, relieved, reaching for my hand. Thank you, baby. I knew you'd understand. 1:12 I just smiled back. 1:15. Because Ethan didn't know what I knew. He didn't know I'd already seen the secret account. 1:20. It started 2 weeks earlier. 1:22. I'd never snooped in Ethan's finances before. Why would I? We'd always been open with each other. He had access to my accounts, my salary, my investments. We were a team. 1:37. But that day, searching his laptop for an email, a notification popped up. A bank statement. 1:42. An account I'd never seen before. 1:45. I shouldn't have clicked. It was a breach of privacy. I knew that. But something, instinct maybe, pushed me. 1:52. That's when I saw it. 156, $150,000. Sitting quietly in an account with only his name on it. 202. It wasn't from his paycheck, not our joint savings. It was hidden. 208. A backup plan. For what? For who? 212. I tried to ignore it. To rationalize. Maybe it was a surprise honeymoon, a secret gift. 224. But when I casually asked about our finances, he waved it off. 227. You handle the money, babe. I don't even look at that stuff. 233. He looked me in the eye and lied. 236. That's when it hit me. Ethan wasn't just planning for our life together. He was planning for a life without me. 2:45, and then last night, the final blow. 2:46. Lori, I need you to sign a prenup. Just something simple. 2:54 simple. 2:57. Now sitting across from him, the ink on the prenup still drying, I kept my face calm. 3:04. He had a backup plan? 3:07. Fine. 3:08. I'd make sure he needed it. 3:10. The next morning, I woke up with a plan. 3:12. Ethan thought he had it all under control, thought the prenup locked me out of any financial security. 3:19. But what he didn't realize was that in handing me that document, he'd given me the blueprint to my escape. 3:23, and I was going to use it. 3:26. I sat in my car outside the law office, gripping my coffee like a lifeline. 3:30 on the passenger seat, a manila folder, a copy of the prenup, bank statements, screenshots of the hidden account. 3:40 I didn't. Know exactly what I wanted. Not yet. Revenge? A way out? The truth? 3:46. All I knew was I needed answers. 3:48. The receptionist led me into a sleek office. Mr. Carver, my lawyer, was already waiting. Late 50s, sharp-eyed, the kind of man who's seen every way love can fall apart. 4:05. I slid the prenup across his desk. Tell me exactly what this means for me. 4:09. He flipped through it with the ease of experience. 4:14, then leaned back, tapping his pen thoughtfully. 4:16. Well, he said, let me ask you something, Lori. 4:20. He looked me square in the eye. 4:23. Are you sure he's the only one with a backup plan? 4:26. My pulse quickened. 4:30. What do you mean? 4:33. He smirked. Your fiancé made one critical mistake. Whoa, that's intense, and honestly, incredibly satisfying in that slow burn, twist-the-knife way. The pacing, the growing dread, the quiet rage, simmering underneath. This is prime psychological drama with a delicious revenge arc. I love how it transitions from shock to strategy, from heartbreak to cold calculation. That last line? I spent the next week doing something I never thought I'd do, rewrite. Chills. Are you working on this as part of a novel or short story? Because this would make an amazing opener for a domestic thriller. I'm curious. What? Does she rewrite her life, his plan, the prenup? Want help shaping the next part? Wow, that was intense. Like watching a slow burn thriller where the twist isn't that someone got betrayed, but that the person being betrayed was 10 steps ahead the whole time. The pacing, the quiet revenge, the controlled composure, it's icy in the best way. Are you working on this as part of a longer story? A novel or screenplay, maybe? Because this has real potential for a gripping psychological drama. Think Gone Girl meets Big Little Lies. I'd love to help you flesh this out if you're developing it further. Character arcs, dialogue tweaks, scene structure, all that good stuff. Or are you just vibing with the idea for now? Either way, I'm so in. I filed the official inquiry at 2:50 p.m. Just 2 minutes later, it included the undisclosed payments Ethan had made toward her apartment. That alone wouldn't have been enough to destroy him. But the real blow? Ethan had used company funds to finance some of their little getaways. Corporate fraud. Game over. By the time he realized I was one step ahead, the trap had already snapped shut. At exactly 3:45 p.m., my forensic accountant called. His voice practically hummed with satisfaction. We found it. Turns out Ethan wasn't just stashing money away for himself. He'd been funneling corporate funds into a hidden account, camouflaging them as business expenses. Illegal, traceable, and now reported. By the time Ethan got home that evening, I was already packed. I sat calmly in the living room, sipping wine, waiting. When he walked through the door, briefcase in hand, he had no idea his carefully constructed double life had just gone up in flames. He smiled like everything was normal. Hey, babe. I set my glass down. Hey, Ethan, how was work? His phone buzzed. Once, twice, again. I watched as he checked it. First, his bank. Your account has been frozen due to an official investigation. Please contact customer service. Then his employer. Please report to HR regarding financial discrepancies. Failure to comply will result in immediate termination. And finally, Rebecca. What the hell is going on? The lease isn't getting paid. You said you had it covered. Call me. The blood drained from his face. Slowly, he looked up at me. Lori. I smiled. The same fake, sweet smile he'd given me too many times. Something wrong? He swallowed hard. What did you do? I stood, picked up my overnight bag, and walked to the door. Me? Oh, nothing much. Hand on the handle, I paused. You know, Ethan, I used to wonder why you always needed a backup plan. I turned to him, watching the panic twist his face. Now I get it. And then I stepped outside, closing the door softly behind me. He was alone, in the house we once shared, in the mess he created. Ethan had spent years preparing for a life without me. Now he had it, just not the way he'd imagined. His career? Gone. His money, seized. His future with Rebecca, crumbled. As for me, I was just getting started. He never called, never begged, never explained. Instead, he ran, like all cowards do. Everything unraveled after I left. The audit revealed thousands in embezzled funds. His company didn't just fire him, they pressed charges. The secret account? Frozen, then seized. Rebecca didn't stick around. The second she found out he was broke, she was gone. One day she was his future, the next she had blocked his number. 3 weeks later, I sat in my lawyer's office when he slid a document across the table. "The lawsuit is official," Carver said. "They're demanding full restitution." I raised an eyebrow. "How much?" $150,000. I laughed. That secret account? Not only was it all Ethan had left, it wasn't even his anymore. He'd spent years scheming, hiding, lying. And now? It had all led to one thing: ruin. I moved into my new apartment that weekend. One I chose, one I paid for. No shadows of Ethan, no traces of betrayal. Just me, a clean slate, and the weight lifted. A month later, I ran into Ethan's sister. She looked at me for a long moment before speaking. "He told us you just left, that you abandoned him in his worst moment." I snorted. "Of course he did." She sighed. "Then we found out about the account, about Rebecca." I didn't say a word. "He's living with our parents now," she added softly. "No job, no savings. They're not thrilled." "But he's their son," I finished for her. She nodded. I smiled. And what I felt wasn't satisfaction. It wasn't pity. It was indifference. Ethan wasn't my problem anymore. That night, curled up with a book and a glass of wine, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't need to check. I already knew who it was. I let it ring, then blocked the number. The past belongs in the past. And I was already living the best revenge. A life without him.